Hi, and welcome to another CRIISP Growth Labs interview. Today, we have the pleasure of having Charlie Dowsett, Chief Financial Officer at Magnium, here with us today. Our topic for today's discussion is how to utilize CRIISP for your capital raise. Charlie, thank you for joining us for this interview.
Oh, thanks, Rhythm. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Amazing. Now, we're really excited to learn from you how your experience has been using the CRIISP platform and how it has contributed to your capital raising efforts. But before we delve into that, Charlie, can you give us an overview of Magnium and the capital raising activities that you have undertaken?
Yeah, so at Magnum, we are commercializing some CSIRO technology that is really a breakthrough in the refinery of critical minerals, and particularly magnesium. So we had set ourselves up with some initial capital raisings. At first it was some our founders that had the initial capital investment, and then we did really, like any startup, a family and friends round, and then we started looking into the market into. We thought we were trying to get into VC funds and also then into high net worth individuals and family trusts. So for us, in engaging in the CRIISP platform really gave us that introduction to let's call it the smaller VCs and the family trust funds.
Amazing. So now let's dive deeper into the next question. So could you tell us in what ways has actually CRIISP assisted your team in achieving your objectives?
Well, the important thing, or the fundamental thing for us, was that CRIISP gave us, I suppose, that discipline of getting the information out there. So we were able to use that platform. There's some really good categories. So you're setting up essentially the virtual deal room and using the suggested categories to provide that information. Because what we found that as our capital raise journey went along, we had changes in the information that we needed to update our to potential investors. So CRIISP gave us that centralised platform that we could keep on top of all our documents. And it also is in a format that people are asking the questions. So we're able to point them to that, to have that, I suppose it's a consistency of messaging. It's making sure everything is up to date. And, and it also gave the potential investors the ability to look at, the information in their own time. We could highlight the key attributes, and then for additional information, that gave them that ability to really do a deep dive if they're interested in their own time.
Absolutely. Now, before that you adopted CRIISP, Charlie, what were some of the challenges that you were actually facing during your capital raising efforts?
So, for me, I've had significant experience in sort of the resources and energy sector. So it was, 35 years worth of experience. And if I look at, I had my own Rolodex of people to contact, and what really CRIISP gave us was all, with the changing market, all the people I didn't know in that space. So that really opened, and that's why we were engaged to access those people, knowing the limitations of my own contact and list. And really our main purpose was to understand who's out there in the market, who are the new investors, and getting access to them so that we could tell the Magnium story.
That's brilliant. It's great to hear how CRIISP has assisted you in addressing those challenges. Now, can you tell us how is actually CRIISP able to improve and streamline the activities, of your capital raise?
Yeah, I think for a lot of it was that bringing. Firstly, it was the ability to contact that whole database. So that streamlined that, effectively our marketing campaign on that side. Then it was through the CRIISP system. It was, you could see, who had looked at your platform. It got, it sort of prompted you to follow up. It really managed that time properly. and then gave you those prompts to, okay, have that discipline of regularly checking and then setting those dates and that contact, I suppose, where it's, you need to reach out and contact those people. The second side of that is also it is really the streamlining of the information and having one source of truth for information for investors, and being able to, you could update that rather than having it on separate different files within, your own platform, or, we're like if we signed an MOU and it was with the CEO, we had on his computer, I had to make sure I get that information, and we could certainly have that data library, and that was a big help for us.
That's brilliant. Now, you have touched upon this, that regular communication with investors is quite important. But would you like to add anything to it as well? Like when we talk about that, CRIISP offers you that like regular engagement with investors. How often did you see yourself, when you were raising for Magnium, to reach out to investors during that time? And was it like an easy process for you?
Yeah, so it's CRIISP made it easy because of that database, and then the ability to follow up. It gave you that ability to identify the person, talk through the chat room, and so a lot of that is, that's the basics. It's then what do you do yourself? I think for what we're doing, we were a manufacturing company, so the investor market in manufacturing for us in Australia is, I'd call it fairly immature. For us to understand resources from a mining sector, but they don't understand the mining. So for us, it gave us, really for 100 people, you got a 1 to 2% hit rate in terms of someone coming back to you. But that's not a reflection on the CRIISP system. That's a reflection on the CRIISP system helping us identify the right investor that met that investment criteria. So, whereas my contact list, was, exhausted at 100, CRIISP gave me that additional contact list that I could then find that 1 in 100 or 2 in 100 investor that understood what we were trying to do and had that relationship. So.
Absolutely. Now, as a parting question, Charlie, it would be great if you could share any advice on your end for the founders who are in this journey, and just in general, or the ones who are also looking to utilize CRIISP in their capital raise.
Yeah, I think like any application or software, it is what it is a tool, and then what you get out of it is really what you put into it. So if you use it to its full potential, then it really saves you a lot of time and effort. But it's very intuitive and easy to use. But like anyone, you've got to have that discipline and have regularly looking at who's contacting you, regularly updating the platform with news and allowing that information to get out to the investor network. But yes, it is, like any tool, if you use it to its full potential, then you maximize what, the benefits from it.
Absolutely. Well, very well said, Charlie. We will keep in mind all the points that you have mentioned today. And thank you for coming on for this interview and sharing your valuable insights on how CRIISP has been able to assist you in your capital raising efforts. For anyone watching the interview, if you would like to get in touch with the team at Wholesale Investor or Magnium, please see the details at the side of the screen or in the description of this video. I would like to thank you again, Charlie, and yeah, good luck with your capital raise.
Thank you very much, Rhythm.
Thank you.